My name is Chris Muse.
Burnell Muse.
Allan Muse.
Muse 3 Farm. Well, on Muse 3 Farm, we do a variety of things. Number one priority is Angus beef. We raise Angus beef cattle. We do two things with Angus beef. We sell our calves at the slaughter barn, but we also have our Louisiana certified license where we can slaughter and process our meat. So we sell our meat direct to our customers as well. We also raise lamb, goats, chickens, and rabbits. So we try to be a full-scale farm here for Muse 3 Farm.
Well, let's go back when I was a little boy. You know, this used to be paper company out here, this land is on. I used to walk this land, and I just dream about owning this. So, you know, somehow when the paper company filed for bankrupt, another timber company bought this land, and they cut the timber. All they wanted was the timber off of it. And we asked them to sell us the property. That's how we got it started on this.
Yeah, so we grew up right across the street. My grandfathers and my dad, my uncle, you know, they were all farmers. And we got away from farming as we got out of college and started our jobs. And so near the end of our career, we started looking for property, you know, and it just so happened that the property came available right next door to us. So, and the timber company property that my brother was mentioning. So that got us started. So, and you know, it worked out best for us to get together to buy in bulk instead of buying the 3-acre plots that he was selling. You know, so he was selling it in 3-acre plots. So we got together and we decided we would buy in 40-acre lots, which you get a better deal at that way. So, and so that's how we started buying. You know, minimum. We try to get a minimum of 40 acres at a time now.
Yeah, and obviously, right, we're on Muse Road. This is our family heritage. Our grandfather started us out on this place. He had over 300 acres of land. He was able to subdivide his land to his kids, mainly his 3 boys. You know, we grew up on the farm. We could not wait to get away from the farm, and it probably took us 30, 40 years to be able to get back to do some of the things that we're doing now. So based upon our heritage, we wanted to come back home. We wanted to come back to this property because this we feel like is our home property, and to be able to purchase land that's adjacent to our home property and even some of the land that our forefathers owned, you know, this has been a benefit to us.
My grandfather said he moved from Chipola. Him and his wife came down here and they bought this 40 acres. And I used to ask him, how do you pay for it? He told me they raised crop. And he started 40 acres down here on this 40 acres across here. And, you know, he said he kept on adding, kept on adding on. You know, he's an amazing guy. I look up to him because, you know, he couldn't read or write. He wouldn't know his name. He saw it up there on that wall there. But I think he was the most smartest man I've been around. Being honest, the thing I've seen him do over here on this community. Mm-hmm. I think we said he bought it first, and I think he said he paid $6 an acre.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, he told me $6 an acre.
Yeah.
What he paid for that land.
So he was a pretty amazing guy because given his resources, I mean, even what we're been able to pool our resources together to do today, he was able to amass more land with his limited resources than we have been able to do, given, you know, with the benefits that he provided to us. So really look up to him for what he was able to do.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Land acquisition has been interesting for us. I think we knew we wanted to come back home. The key was, okay, where would we come home? We actually had purchased a prior property, 15 acres, about 10 miles away from here, and I think at one time we may have thought that was going to be our home place. Then things sort of fell in place. This land, we knew it had came up for sale at one point in time, but it seemed to have came off the market. Then it came back on the market, and then, you know, when land is available, you have to purchase it at that time. So when it came up, being this close to where we lived, we said we had to get this land. Fortunately for us, we had the cash that we could purchase that land, so
Right.
we did not have to deal with private loans or going through the government to try to get the land. So when it came up, we had the funds available. We purchased this first piece outright with cash. The next 40 acres that was adjacent came up to it, and we said, okay, well, let's get that one too. We purchased that one with cash. Then the next 40 acres came up, and we said, wait a minute, we're running out of cash here.
Yeah.
You know, we have to live as well. So we decided, well, how can we acquire land without using our own capital? And that was a struggle for us.
That's right.
I lived in Georgia, Allan lived in Texas, Burnell lived in Baton Rouge. You know, we checked with our local banks we've been dealing with for the past 40 years, right? And they said, no, we don't finance land. We don't finance land. So we were saying, wow, this land is right here next to us. It has to be a way to get it. Fortunately, Allan reached out to a few people, and they recommended a local credit union right here about in the town next adjacent to us. And they said, yeah, that's what we do. We finance land. And so we was able to work with them. And based upon them, we've been able to acquire additional land as land comes up now. So we feel comfortable that as more land come up, we now have an avenue to do that. But starting out, we didn't know anything about that place, and it's about 15 miles from us here.
What blew my mind about that, you know, like I was telling my brother, I had got mad about it. I said, these folks own all this land. I said, somebody got to be financing this land for them, you know. The banks told me, called, and they told me they didn't do it. So I was at work. It was one morning. So I was just on the farm, all cattle in Florida, we're doing pretty good. So I was calling around. And I ran into a lady in Detroit, Michigan. She taught me the lesson how to do it. I said, yeah, we got folks that finance land. And she told me about two people in Louisiana. Told me to call, and I told them where I live. So you got one don't live too far from you. So that's how things fell in place for me, you know. I tried in Texas. Texas told me they don't finance land in Louisiana. That's where I was living, you know. And I got looking. I said, folks got all this property. Somebody got to be financing this property. Banks say they don't want to take the risk. It's too risky. Finance property with no houses on it and everything. So we had to learn that. Now we got the ball rolling. We learned how to do this. That's how we got the ball rolling.
You pay more in interest rates, right, when you go private versus if you could have gotten a government loan, you know, and every bit goes to the bottom line. But again, land, when it comes available and the location it was just too good of a deal. So you have to do what you need to do at that point in time in order to acquire that land. And it worked out for us. Ask around. Don't be afraid to ask around. You know? Don't be afraid to ask.
Then you going to say yes or no.
That's
right. You got to ask yes or no. Do you want to sell? Yes or no. That's, you're going to get an answer.
Now, a lot of times in these rural areas, if it's 5, 10, 15 acres, they're not going to advertise it.
No.
You know, it's going to be word of mouth, you know. So, and that's how it gets around. Somebody say, you know, somebody wants to sell land, and it gets around like that. But the big acres, they're listed with a real estate company, you know, and then they advertise it. But those don't last long.
And that's why it's interesting to be with your cattlemen's association,
Right.
your local association, because those are some of the people that know when land is coming available. They'll give you the heads up on that. So definitely work closely with your local organizations in your community. Well, I guess the thing I value the most being that I moved away for 32 years. And to be able to come back home and to wake up in the morning and just look out across the land, you know, you see grass growing, cattle roaming, sheep, goats, chickens, all just seem to be getting along great together. Just that sense of peace and ownership, you know, this is something now that I own. I own a piece of America, really, you know. This land belongs to me, you know. There's no more land being made these days, and just to be able to wake up every morning and look outside my door and see things going on my land is something that's invaluable.
I worked in corporate America for 40 years, you know. It's making me proud to get out here and look up here every morning. Folks ask me every morning I get up, I got something to do. Make sure this place look nice. I only got it for a little while. I know that, and I'm gonna have to pass it on to someone else. I want to pass it on to better than what I received it. That's my goal right here. Mm-hmm.
I think just the pride of knowing that it's been in the family for so long, and you know the sacrifices that they had to make to get it, you know, and that sense of pride of being back. I mean, I don't know if it would be any different if we bought land somewhere else than buying land right at your old home place. You know, that I think that makes a big difference.
Everything we're doing now is legacy, right?
Legacy,
You know, it's building a legacy, right? So you know, we're taking what our parents gave us, what their parents gave them, and hopefully we're going to make it much better for them to come around. And now the key is just to provide the insights to them so that they can understand the value of land, right? Because that's usually the key. Most of your kids, inheritance-wise, they don't see the value of it, you know. So if they get it, they first thing it says, let's sell it, right? So we're trying to project never, whatever you do, don't sell. You know, just keep your land, keep working the land, and that land will pay dividends for you.
Yeah, and that's what I tell my kids. You know, I hope that it never be on the market again. So you know, pass it on down. Pass it on down. If you're gonna put it on the market, I tell them all the time, make sure you check with other family members first, you know. But my hope is that it never goes on the market. That's my hope.
all kids are not alike, right? So, you know, you have to kind of look at that too.
Right.
You know, some kids may have the love for it and some may not. So you may have to make that decision that says, okay, well, since this one has the love for it, well, he's going to be the keeper of the land.
That's right.
You know, that can't be an equal split. That's some interesting ones, you know, when you're spending that kind of money, you know, and like I say, at our age, in our career, you know, we're not young and we're ready to retire, right? So we can sell off into the sunset here. So you're spending the type of investment that you have to make, you know, in purchasing land and then the equipment and the assets that go along with that, you know. That's a lot of money. That you have to shove up. I mean, it's not just my money, right? It's her money too, right? So you have to be in it together, and you just have to explain the benefits of it. You know, what is it doing? And now I think they love the land probably more than we do. You know, so you know, they love being able to wake up in the morning and walk outside with a cup of coffee and look out and you hear the birds chirping, the butterflies flying, and the animals roaming around as well. Well, yeah, relationship building is good. You have to be on the same page, and you know, we formed our own company, right, Muse 3 Farm. But you know, Muse 3 Farm is bigger than us three, right? I mean, we have one more partner, but we also have spouses, right? You have spouses, you have kids, right? All of those play a role in it as well. So you have to ensure that they also see the vision, right? I mean, they have to understand. My wife grew up in the city, right? So, you know, when you say, hey, want to go buy 100 acres of land, you know, what are you going to do with all that land? Why do you need 100 acres of land? So you have to work with them, too, to sort of make sure that they understand as well what the vision and what the goal on why we're doing these things, why we're purchasing this land, why we're spending our quote-unquote savings and investments that we are supposed to be retiring on to go out now and purchase equipment and things. So you have to deal not only with the people that's on the lease that owns the company, but you know, when you're married and you have kids, you got to also make sure that everybody's working on the same page as well.
That's about the biggest question I got before I retired. You know, a lot of folks call me and say, you purchasing land. Say, how did you get your wife and family go along with it? I said, well, my brothers and things like that. I said, they don't understand the big goal there. But I said, by the time we get it paid, they will come around and understand. Not, it's their land. It's not mine. It's theirs, you know. When, like Chris said, when I about, why you buying that? What you going to do with that? What you going to do with that? Why you putting money into that? They didn't understand it. But once we got it paid for, now it's there. I had worked with folks, they were talking about how they pooled their money together. So I thought about it. Me and my brothers, I said, we got a good job. We can do the same thing. I said, that's a good thing. You know, I said, we got cash right now. So we just pool our cash together and we can get things moving. That's how we got the ball rolling. By pooling our money. But we're no fussing. We sat down and we talked about it. Yeah, let's pool our money together and see what we can do. Because, you know, it's happened all in the United States. Folks come over here and pooling their money together to move and everything. So it worked out well for us by doing that, you know. And our brother, you know, we're pretty tight family. Yeah, it ain't no fussing. We might not disagree, but we ain't gonna fall out with each other. That's the way it is, you know. We're pretty tight, you know. If he hurt, I'm hurt. Oh, we all hurt. Yeah.
And when you buy a large block of land like we did, you know, especially paying cash, you know, it helps to have people that you can pool your money together, and it's great to have like-minded people that want to do the same thing, you know. So we all grew up here. We all understood the value of this land. We understood what my dad went through, what my granddad went through. So it was pretty easy for us to make that decision. Once when it came available, there was no doubt. We said we had to get it. You know, it was like we would get this land.
Yeah.
Start with the land. We had to start with the land, and then based on the land, we can now put other goals and objectives in place once we acquired the land.
Well, I think money is always tight for everybody.
Everybody.
You got to make some tough choices sometimes. You know, do I buy another $60,000 vehicle, or do I buy some land? You know, it comes down to your priorities. You know, so and you look at it that way. You know, you buy that vehicle 45 years, you know, its value has gone way down. But land is only a current value, so, you know, so you have to make some priorities. Yeah.
Of course, for me, that was the best decision I've made. So I invested my money in real estate. I had a young student told me that, you know, I was investing my money in stock. As a matter of fact, when my company filed bankrupt, I lost it all. So I had to start all over. And so when I started all over, instead of putting all my bonuses into stock, I started putting my bonus, money to buy land with my bonus, and it paid off great by doing that. One thing about it, we got to do better paperwork-wise. I knew I'm going to have to leave this world one day, so I need to go through the court and set things up the way it should be, you know. Where it won't be any air property fighting with this stuff, you know. Keep it straight. Teach the folks, teach the kids, my young kids, teach them. Pay tax. You got to pay tax. You don't want to lose your land in tax sale. I said you got to pay tax on the land. It ain't that much, but you set back somebody that's gonna get in tax sale, you're gonna lose it. That's about the easiest way you lose your land in tax sales, you know. So I'm trying to teach them young about that, you know.
Yeah.
Go online and look and see what tax sales is on the property. See if they paid.
My only regret, which is not a regret, is, you know, we should have started much earlier. So my advice, you know, to my kids, relatives, or anybody is, don't worry. You're always going to have debt. You know, start as young as possible to acquiring the land. You know, you prioritize it. You know, it's just like any other investment. Prioritize that land. You know, if we would have started earlier, who knows how much more land we would have acquired by now. So we waited late in life, but we didn't wait too late. So, you know, when it comes available, you grab it. But my goal and what I would tell people is, you know, if it's available, no matter, you know, if you got a good job, you're young, make that part of your strategy. Go for it.